Well, we're back again with yet another no fluff analysis, and this time I'm not talking about a summon showcase. Instead, I'll be talking about Summer Amane and the Wyrmprints added with the Doomsday Getaway raid event added on the 29th of July UTC. Let's get straight to it with the one and only 5-star Welfare Wind Axe, Summer Amane, the Kitty Cafe's shining star. Summer Amane's first skill is Imperial Wind, a basic regen heal, which heals 14% healing potency up front and then an additional 60% over 15 seconds. Her second skill is Feline Fortuity, which increases the entire team's critical rate by 20% for 10 seconds. Summer Amane has the standard Axe, defense go ability, and her chain go ability grants wind units 6% strength at 60% hit points or above. For her abilities, the first of them is 25% Demi-Human's Bane. She also has freeze resist and 15% recovery potency. So Summer Amane is the first healing focused non-staff adventurer we've seen, which is pretty unique. I put her alongside Sophie, a very basic healer in Mercurial Gauntlet, to see how the Axe skill point gain stacked up against her staff. Since Sophie's heal is so basic, like Amane's, the SP costs are scaled to match. It seems like they're available within split seconds of each other, so it appears that the SP costs were scaled to the SP gains of their respective weapon classes. However, Amane's regen heal heals for less potency overall compared to Sophie's burst heal. Her secondary skill, however, is a buff. 20% critical rate is nice, but not groundbreaking. The 10-second duration is somewhat disappointing, falling behind the 15-second duration we see with many other buff skills. At least she has some synergy with Summer Sanoa and her crit buffs, but this skill is otherwise quite mediocre. My last pain point with Summer Amane is the 25% Demi-Human's Bane ability. While it sees a bit of use for the event, it doesn't apply for any current endgame bosses and becomes a dead ability outside of the event. Welfare, the other raid boss for wind units, is a Therion, so it won't even see use there once Welfare inevitably returns for another astral raid. Otherwise, freeze resist and recovery potency as the final abilities, they're fairly standard. Overall, Summer Amane has a slim chance of being usable against Ciela and co-op teams, but solo teams will likely use Lowen or Grace, opting to use Ranzor in the Axe slot for his own utility. Against High Mercury, she'll end up competing for Noelle's spot, without the benefits of being a ranged character for the purposes of baiting attacks. I think some organised teams will try to use her out of curiosity, but ultimately I don't think she'll settle into the meta. She might be tolerated, but with a well-established meta for our current endgame fights, it'll be a struggle to try and use Summer Amane in public rooms. Also added on the 29th of July were some Wyrmprints, the first of which being the 5-star print Blossoms on the Water's Edge, granting 8% Dragon Gauge fill rate and 10% Shapeshift prep. This print doesn't directly contribute to damage, instead focusing on rushing out dragon transformations as quickly as possible. I could see this being paired with the Red Impulse to accelerate scaling, but existing transformation-centric characters such as Xanfrid and Forta still see better performance when building standard skill damage and strength or crit setups. The efficacy of ramming out transformations as soon as possible will also vary by fight, since there may be scenarios where you're incentivized to hold onto a transformation for tanking purposes. I think it's unlikely that this print will see widespread use, but it's not completely irredeemable. There's a slim chance that it gets used for some pre-organized cheese strategy. The 4-star print added is Seaside Memory, granting 6% skill haste and 13% strength at full hit points. This is very similar to Jewels of the Sun, so I could see this being a budget alternative to slot alongside a skill damage Wyrmprint. Overall, it's pretty nice. The full hit point requirement is slightly annoying, but it's possible to work around. For beginners lacking in the Eldwater to spend on 5-star Wyrmprints, this could be worth picking up a copy of to unbind with silver keys. You'll want to replace it by the time you start to tackle expert difficulty Agito and High Dragon trials, but it should serve you decently well until then. Added alongside the event print is Fun in the Sun, granting 10% water resist and 13% recovery potency at 70% hit points or above. A defensive print aimed at healers is a bit odd, but it comes for free with the event. Wind healers can probably use this until they begin to tackle expert difficulty boss fights, but defensive prints as well as healing potency ones rarely have a tangible benefit. Yeah well, it's free. Well, that about covers it for this video. I'm fairly certain that this video won't draw as much attention, but I feel like I should get my analysis out into the open for completion's sake. In the end, I'm happy to receive free characters that can be maximum unbound with a bit of time instead of other resources. As for the Wyrmprints, well, I'm still waiting for a lance-centric skill damage print that doesn't also have an element-specific ability on it. Oh well, maybe one day. As always, take it easy, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.